Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
Beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandiyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yenna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde tuyakedde ku makyabbaga nti nsitudde tu. Naye nga mutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali. Akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyandiyagadde twogereko tujja kwa tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Omusajja bulijjo muwa ssente mu kibanja mpola ng'asonda poloti ennungi naye ngenza okutuuka nga woofiisi bulijjo wenteeka ssente baavaawo nadda essimu tebazikwata kyokka nga n'ebyentambula byakaweeredde biseera bya covid yenga ndabye
naye lwaki weesiga abafere lwaki tewanneebuuzaako n'enkulagirya ba praise nze be bannyamba nze njokke.
Praise Property Consultants Uganda Limited bagula n'okutunda ettaka kw'ossa n'amayumba bapunta ettaka ne bakwanguyiza okufuna ekyapa bazimba amayumba kw'ossa n'okuba plan ne architecture design balina ploti enteeketeeke wonna wogyetaaze ate yapa ebya private Miloland n'ebibanja ku ttaka lya Kabaka era bakkiriza ekibanja mpola basange wandegeya mu katale ka KCCA Southern Wing leve y'okusatu lumu 128 oba ku ssimu 0706 ne 0783 823
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
It is exactly 12 minutes past 7 a.m. Good morning and welcome to the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar, Mathew, Karuhanga. We are a bit late, but I would love to apologize for that. You know, it's technicalities here and there. Facebook is still closed in the country, so it is in that regard that we apologize for coming a bit late. But better late than never. My name is Edgar and we are live from Lukuli Nanganda, right here at the Alternative Dig Talk main offices near the water pump. So when you reach Lukuli Nanganda, you find the water pump, and opposite the water pump, that is where we are located. And we are live. It is the in-house Thursday, where we have different segments, and of course we as the journalists bring you the news that has happened over time as we dissect it for you, our dear listener, to know better and move with the trends, to understand what is happening in the political games, in the economic games, technology, financial sectors, each and everything. We are here to keep you educated and entertained at the same time. Today, as I told you, it is the in-house Thursday. I will be having Teddy Tenjo Nabukera coming in and for the fashion tips. Then later on, we shall have Rogers Turiahabwe and Lilin Luwedde. We shall be also talking about the different things that have made rounds all over the day. My name is Edgar, and on camera I am with Katoto Musime and the producer of the day, that is none other than Jeremiah Mukibi. There's a friend who calls him Jeremiah Mukibi, from Bunyoro TV. But we're not talking Bunyoro TV, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the different spheres and the different news bulletins that have been trending in Uganda. Let's start off with Kisenyi and Kawempe. Now, if you come with from any of those two particular residences, or let me say areas, Kisenyi and Kawempe, they have been ranked as areas with the worst air quality in Uganda today. So if you are staying in Kisenyi and Kawempe, you are not breathing healthy air. So according to research by the National Environment and Management Authority, NEMA, these two areas have the worst air quality in Uganda. Kisenyi, this is because Kisenyi has a number of machines, I think, that work where people actually work and innovate a lot of things. So it is in that regard they're always hosting different airs or different toxic airs in the space or in the environment. So in that regard, Kisenyi and Kawempe have the worst air quality according to the National Environment Management Authority, that is NEMA. Then City Hall and Wandegea have the best air quality according to the research that has been made by that particular organization. So but when you look at City Hall, there are different trees. It looks exquisite at the end of the day. So I would actually agree with the NEMA, or National Environment and Management Authority. So it is in that regard that City Hall and Wandegea have the best air quality in the country today, and Kisenyi and Kawempe, your air quality is so wrong. Now the URA is starting, in conjunction with the police, they are starting to make a bit of investigations in cars that have the same number plate. It has come to notice that over time Ugandans have cars, and on the different cars people have the same number plates. How does this actually come about? Is it a camouflage? How do they actually acquire the same number plates for different cars? So according to the URA and the Uganda Police Force, some investigations have started ongoing, because earlier on I think a car was towed. I think that was a Subaru Impreza was towed and was taken to CPES, and after that another car, another Harrier with the same number plate as the Subaru, was actually also towed by the same traffic officers. So it came to notice that over time there are different people who have the same number plates on these different cars. So how does this come about? The police is starting to investigate. There may be something fishy about these particular motor vehicles. How come they have the same number plates? So the Uganda Revenue Authority, in conjunction with Uganda Police Force, they've started to actually carry out these investigations to make sure that the country and the motor vehicles and everything is actually safe for people to use them, and how to actually find out how exactly do people get these particular number plates. Do they forge them, and how do they actually do that? This is what the URA and the Uganda Police Force will be actually investigating. Let's go and talk about a bit of health. The Ministry of Health in the country has confirmed that 14.9% of the teachers now are fully vaccinated. Remember, the total number of the total number of teachers in the country is 550,000 teachers. Now 14.9% of the 550,000 are the only ones that are vaccinated. But remember, schools have to reopen the opening of schools is dependent on the number of teachers that will be vaccinated by them. Remember, by next year, that is when the government is looking at reopening the schools again. But the problem is the vaccination process has taken a short time. If only 14.9% of the total population of teachers has actually been vaccinated, that brings about some questions. How does the government plan on fastening the process? How are they going to do this? And Is it actually viable? By next year, will they have achieved the total number of vaccinated teachers to be maybe the whole amount? That is 550,000 teachers. So that is a question that we will be asking ourselves, and the government as well. They need to actually tell us more about this particular endeavor. So that is what is happening in the Ministry of Health. Let me talk about another health story. This is not from the Ministry of Health, but it is from Bunga. A lady named Taduba burnt her maid or her house help following a dream that she had that this house help was actually in love with the husband. After a dream, I think after she dreamt, Miss Taduba dreamt that Angela Namayega had actually been in a sexual relationship with the husband. She woke up and burnt her house help. That is what is happening in this country. People are actually so funny. How do you burn someone depending on the dream you had? Don't you see it's a bit of an irony? Because I last had such a statement that was in 1972 when Amin Dada woke up one morning and said he had dreamt about Indians and Asians leaving the country, and he gave them an ultimatum of 90 days to leave the country. This is the same thing. The lady Taduba had a dream that Angela, her house help, was actually in love with the husband. It is in that regard that she woke up and burnt the house help. That happened in Bunga, just close to where we are right now, which is actually so sad from that regard. Now let's talk about the NUP, the National Unity Platform, a charismatic opposition leader in parliament with over 60 members of parliament. These gentlemen have unveiled a new, gentlemen and ladies, by the way, let them not say that I've said gentlemen alone. These gentlemen and ladies, all these people, members of the National Unity Platform, have unveiled a new charismatic deputy spokesperson, and that is none other than Mr. Waiswa Mufumbiro Alex. You will be seeing him on your screens, and maybe if we get an opportunity, we shall bring him here on the drive so that we can maybe ask a bit of some questions. What is happening in the National Unity Platform camp? Why did they actually, refuse or refute joining the pressure group from the retired Dr. Kano Kiza Besige? Maybe if we get an opportunity, we will have Mr. Mufumbiro Waiswa Alex. We'll actually look for him, and we'll make an initiative to look for him and maybe bring him on set here so that he can tell us what is happening in the NUP camp. That is what is happening there. They've unveiled a new deputy spokesperson. Remember, their spokesperson, Mr. Joel Senyonyi, is now a father of a young girl called Gianna. Gianna, I think Senyonyi? Yes, congratulations to you, Mr. Senyonyi, by the way. I think over the weekend he had a bouncing baby girl. Gianna, I think that means gift from God, yes. And he put it on his social media platforms, and a lot of wishes and congratulatory messages were actually flashing his social media accounts. Mr. Joel Senyonyi, he was a virgin before he got married, and he now shows that he is typically not a virgin. Let's go in other news. Let's cross over. I don't know why Rogers is laughing. Let's cross over to the African continent. Let's speak Algeria. The brother to the president, Bouteflika, let me say the ousted president, Bouteflika, because he's now no longer president. His brother has been arrested and imprisoned for evading and disturbing or distorting justice. Now, this imprisonment is going to go for 2 years. Remember, Mr. Bouteflika, President Bouteflika, was president of Algeria for a long time, close to over 20 years. He was president, but he was ousted a few years back, and the people of Algeria took the law in their hands, and they actually staged a protest against President Bouteflika. Following that, a lot of arrests have been made, and a bit of arbitrary killings had gone on in Algeria. But what is coming on our desk is that his brother was arrested and imprisoned for evading and distorting justice. This imprisonment is going to go for 2 years, according to news that is coming in from Algeria. Now, let me end with a story by Richard Namara. Richard Namara was arrested. He's a gentleman that was arrested along Speak Road as he removed or he wielded a gun against a traffic police officer. Now, when the traffic police officer stopped him, instead of stopping, he actually wielded a gun against him. It was a pistol. And this brought about a bit of questions, and like, where do you actually get this? Where did you get this gun? but according to some research, it belonged to one, UPDF officer, and he was sanctioned, and he will be talking to the police on how he actually gave out his, his ammunition to a civilian, one Richard Namara, who was not even responsible enough to not wield it against a police officer. But that is Uganda for you. And one gentleman, a literature writer and an author, Mr. Kankweza Rukirabashaija, he was adapted for writing a book. And if you've read his books, this man, Mr. Rukirabashaija, is actually one person who has written against the government. And he actually wrote a book about his experience in the dungeons of CID and SIU when he was actually taken and tortured, in quotes. That is what he says in his book, that he was actually tortured. Now, this gentleman who has actually won an award, the Literature Author Award of the Year, he is a Ugandan, and he won this particular award for writing against the regime, writing some of the falsities that have been registered in the government of President Okutitiibwa Museveni. Among his books, there is one called The Banana Republic, and then The Greedy Barbarian. Some of the books that you should actually look out for, and just try to read them, because I think reading is the source of knowledge, and when you have knowledge, automatically you have wisdom. So this is my take to you, Farida, Norman, and everybody who's watching the Mighty Drive today. It is always prudent that you start reading books and maybe increase on your knowledge capacity. That is what my boss always tells me. So I'm also offering, returning the favor. Boss, you should also read books. I know you read, but maybe you can read more and more and more. The Ethiopian army is set to go over the Tigris. Yes, the Tigris is the eastern region of Ethiopia, and these guys have been in, they have been at loggerheads over time as Ethiopia and Tigray. Tigray wants to secede from mainland Ethiopia, but Ethiopia, the mainland, is saying you are not going anywhere. So the Ethiopian government, or the Ethiopian army, has actually started to a war against the Tigray. They've had war over time, but right now it has become serious. Remember the time when I told you here on the drive that the president of Ethiopia actually ordered all citizens, or requested all citizens, all able-bodied citizens, to come and join the force, because it was now a do or die. And it is the same thing that the Tigris also told their colleagues or their members. They even told the children, young people, that you know what, you only have to you have to get training and join the war, because it's going to be ravaging cats and dogs. Let's pray for Ethiopia, because Ethiopia and Africa at large is bleeding, and I think that is what is happening all over the country. MP Segirinya and Sewanyana, they are not yet going to be getting bail, as some reports. A new judge that was appointed to listen to their bail applications the second time has said, or has denied listening to them for now. So they will be still in custody of the Central Investigations Division, that is CID, and SIU until further notice, because the second hearing of their second bail application will not be had. Remember, these gentlemen paid 20 million shillings each for their bail application over time. That is a question that I leave to you. Do you think what the judge and what is happening in the country is what you really would be or proud of after 59 years of independence? We have just been actually celebrating this day a few days ago, and we are still having these things, people being denied bail who actually had paid for bail in the first time and had arbitrarily been arrested, rearrested again without actually the knowledge of the speaker or anybody. And do you think it is viable? Do you think our country is going somewhere? That is the rhetoric that I leave to you. But before I go, at just 25 minutes past the top of the hour, I have the man himself. Oh, before I call the man himself, let me first talk to Teddy, because Teddy had a bit of fashion tips for us. So before Rogers Tuliahawe comes in, let me have Teddy Tenjo Nawukera doing the fashion tips for you at 25 minutes past the top of the hour. When we return, the Mighty Drive continues with the environmental tips, and later on we'll have Luwedde Lilin on set right here. This is the Mighty Drive. Good morning, Teddy Tenjo. Let's go.
So today I'm putting on orange Air Max shoes, and I love them because, you know, the orange color kind of attracts many of the things. And then, yes, let's go forth. I'm putting on denim jeans, and I love my jeans. You know, I told you guys, we were talking about series of denim, and I told you how much I love denim jeans. Sometimes in color, denim could denim. You know, I get a denim top and I call denim jeans, but today I'm putting on denim jeans, which are the pants, denim pants. Then today I'm putting on as well a white t-shirt that is my company's t-shirt. Of course, it's of the company I work for, and that's none other than the Alternative TikTok. And yes, it is super exciting to have you guys here, and I'm so happy to be back here. It has been a long time, but I'm super excited. You know, we talk fashion. Let's talk fashion. Beautiful people, it's your girl Tari Tenjo back here on the Might Fashion Tips. Yes, welcome to the Mighty Drive, where they give us the opportunity to talk fashion. It is super exciting, and you know, I never take this for granted. Thank you very much, you know, Might Drive team. I appreciate this, the producers, the directors, and all the entire team. Yes, as I said earlier on, let's talk fashion. Yes, as you know, fashion, remember, like I told you guys, you know, any mistake in art is a design. And guess what? Since design works hand in hand with fashion, any mistake in fashion is art. And remember, in fashion, you can't be that fashionable if you don't have the art of designing things. You have to have the art that says, you know, put on this pant or put on this skirt, blend it with this and this and the other. So yes, any mistake in art is a design, and any mistake in fashion is art. Yes, welcome to the Might Fashion Tips. Let's go. As you know, last time our series in Cadet get about the bandage dresses, the cocktail dresses, the party dresses. We talked about very many types of dresses that we couldn't even, you know, complete all of them. Our series, we talked about the fabrics and all that. So today I'm here. You know, initially I told you guys, as we were talking about the dresses, to talk about the skirts as well, which we didn't get the opportunity to, you know, elaborate more. And you know, someone suggested that I would come and elaborate more about the skirts. Yes, remember the bandage dresses. And remember, you guys, I told you that these bandage dresses have also bandage skirts. But remember the symptoms of, sorry, pardon me. Remember the bandage dresses actually, as tight as they are, it's the same story with the skirts. The skirts are also as tight as the bandage dresses. Remember, you have to know your body. Please, girls, please, ladies, please, whatever. Know your body type before you blend any outfit. So yes, as you're putting on a bandage dress, rather a bandage skirt, ensure, you know, you have that body that will look presentable in it. However, this bandage dress, you can blend it with different things. You can blend a bandage dress with either top, either t-shirt, either a shirt, or these small tops that we all know are like crop tops. You can blend the bandage skirts with anything. It could be on the high heels, on the sneakers, on flats, on pumps, on anything. So yes, that is the bandage dress, the bandage skirt for you. Pardon me, you know, it's confusing me a lot since we talked about the bandage dresses initially. So let's go for the round skirts. Round skirts, these are skirts that are usually round. Round skirts are not only for the slim girls, they're also for the chubby people. And remember, these round skirts, even when you're too tiny, let me say Tenjo is so tiny, they kind of give you the kagain you would need. You won't look too slim like you'd be in a, you know, a straight skirt that is bandage and all that. So round skirts, you can put on round skirts more with sneakers. It could be with high heels. It could be with whatever thing you decide. Remember, you could also do this round skirt with any top of your kind that you decide, you know, to do. It could be a denim top. It could be, you know, a silk top. It could be a shirt. It could be a t-shirt. It could be a crop top. It could be whatever. And remember, you can do it with sneakers, with high heels, with whatever. So yes, we've talked about the bandage skirts and then the round skirt. Let's talk about the high-low skirt. High-low skirts, you know, I've seen more of whites caning them. Last time I was talking to my friend, she was telling me, high-low skirts is Zabazungu. No, my dear, there is nothing like, you know, Zabazungu, you know, Zabana Uganda. No, we can look fabulous in whatever outfit as long as you have the art. So yes, high-low skirts. as we say, the dresses, they kind of have the same features. The high-low skirts, they're kind of always low in front and then high behind. Like sometimes they have that sort of a trail. When I say trail, you understand what I mean. Yes, so high-low skirts olumuzibera ne pencil like, you find that muno sides ziri nyimpi ate no mpanvu. So high-low skirts zibera whatever. Sometimes they use more of the slits to elaborate the high-low skirts, and these skirts look beautiful on whatever shoes. It could be the sneakers, it could be the high heels, it could be whatever, be the flats, and then yes, just like other skirts, you could do it with the t-shirt, be the tops, be the anything. You can do anything with it. No sala kugamba I'm doing a sweater shirt on a high-low skirt. I mean, it's okay. Remember, it's just all about the art. Yes. But that aside, yes, let's talk about the denim skirts. Denim skirts, abamo kofe tuzita jean skirts. I remember we were looking about the you know, the products of the denim fabric, and then we saw the skirts, the jackets, the what. So today I'm talking about the denim skirts. Denim skirts is gwemukwane zoitanga jean skirts. Zino skirts zibera made out of jean, and they are usually best for the weekend. Are you going to the beach? Put on a denim skirt. Are you going out with your friends? The denim skirt can do. Of course, denim skirt on a Monday, it could look a little weird, but remember, any mistake in fashion is art. So you can either blend it either way, and you know it looks nice. It looks more with, you know, of course, if you got a shirt that needs to be tucked in and then you caned it on a denim skirt, it may look awkward, but surely it could still be smart. So yes, denim skirts work more with the you know, the half tops, which could be when I say half tops, I mean the crop tops. You could do a denim shirt as well as you're putting on the denim skirt. Then you could do any kind of t-shirt, because I mean it's a weekend, and remember this blends more with the weekend. Denim skirts can blend with the high heels, but I think it makes a lot of sense, denim skirts being on the sneakers or flats or flat shoes, because I mean it's a weekend, it's a free day. You need to be a little relieved, not to be, you know, and high heels. You have to be all formal and all that. So yes, if you want that relaxation, opt for the denim skirts. It's the way to go. It's exciting. How I love denim. Every time I'm talking about denim, I feel, you know, like goosebumps. But anyway, that aside, let's talk about the mini skirts. Mini skirts, please. Remember, initially we were talking about the decency. We said decency works hand in hand with fashion. So you can be fashionable when you're decent. So mini skirts are really okay. Like, they're the best one can put on. But let's look at where we put on our skirts. Are we at the beach? I mean, are we going to the club? Because I mean, let it come Monday and you put on your mini skirt, you're kind of going to look a little bit weird, because it's a right outfit for probably a wrong location and maybe a wrong audience. But if you went to the club with your mini skirt, of course everyone is going to be like, "Hey, chick is smart," and you can do the mini skirts with all kinds of tops. Abamo, since it's more of a club outfit, I mean an outing outfit, many of the people use the mini skirts with the crop tops. And by the way, let's ensure that oluto wakola to put on that, you know, crop tops. So you can do the mini skirt more with the crop tops, and then you go out. They can do them with high heels or sneakers. I don't know why people like to dance in high heels. I don't know even how they do that, because personally I can't. But if you can do your high heels and then do your sneakers with a mini skirt. I feel like I can't say it all here. I can't say everything here. But let's talk about the max skirts. Max skirts, they're usually from the waist to the top, like rather to the bottom. Ziva wagulu paka wansi. They're long enough, as we saw max dresses mpanvu no dala. So tezili ko mid side tekuli ko chick. So you know, the max skirts zibera mpanvu bulungi nnyo nga zikoma ku bigere bino ngenda kulaba nazala. Please opt for the max skirts. Ngenda kuzika. Please, let's avoid pants. You can opt for the mini skirt. And Oizogamba, you know, I want to be fashionable a little bit. I'm extra decent, because of course, putting on a max skirt, that's being extra decent. So you can opt for a max skirt. Noyambala high heels though. And people of late do also sneakers with them. However much they was there, but there is somewhere where they pose. Let me say it's a picture. So yes, I'm encouraging you guys. Let's opt for max skirts. I'm tiny enough. I can't say I don't put on max skirts, but I can, and I look adorable in it. So it's an open thing. It's so open to everyone. You can do a max skirt. Yes. So let's continue. Yes, so I was likely to talk about, you know, because I talked about the party dresses. Remember, I said more these things happen more of the other side, the dresses, then the skirts as well. What I'm sure of, there are no party skirts. That is something I've not yet done the research very well, but if I make the research and get about to know about the party skirts, to circle definitely. And then let's talk about the high waist skirts. High waist skirts, you could say, is belonging more bandage skirts, but you know, olusi ziri zonga because they're either round, they're either way. They can be bandage, they can be high low, they can be round. They can just chemanyi chendi sure of. In the west, they are more of the upper side was similar, so in that you can even tuck them in. It's been nice discussing. Please suggest what you want us to talk about on the Might Fashion Tips, and surely we shall be discussing anything about fashion that you have suggested. Yes, I want to thank the people that asked for me to come and elaborate more about the skirts. I really appreciate. If you are there and you feel like I've left out something and you would really want people to know about it, yes, please, you can comment in our comment section. Tell us what you think, and you know, tell us what you think about what I've just said, and you know, suggest more things. Yes, it's been your girl Tekigenda right here on the Might Fashion Tips. This segment is only found in the Might Drive, and yes, right about now I'm going to welcome my fellow workmate Abatwale in the environmental segment. Yes, aberenga abongerayo. Thank you guys for watching. It's been nice having you here.
Good morning, Ugandans. My name is Rogers. You're welcome to the Mathew Drive again, and thank you to Tekigenda for the fashion tips. According to, I wanted to first go to Edgar's updates. He said, Joel Senyonyi's daughter is called Gianna. Did you know that Gianna was Kobe Bryant's daughter, who he died with? That lady was in the Mamba Academy. Yeah, you want to believe that probably Senyonyi is a fan of basketball, and most likely that name is coming from there. And same from Edgar, he said from Namara, they say that City Hall has the best air in Uganda. He wants to differ. I believe actually they are wrong, because you cannot have City Hall, which is like one acre, compared to the whole Uganda. You have countryside that has more trees than City Hall, and you come and tell us that City Hall has the best air. In fact, I'm very disappointed at that. Except for the other side, Chisenyi and Kawempe, most likely that is true, because those places are crowded and they have a lot of those meals, posho meals and stuff like that. And there are very many people, so they do a lot of different things. And most likely that's probably true. But then I want to believe that their study must have been only within Kampala. You cannot compare City Hall and what was the other thing? Wandegea. You cannot say City Hall and Wandegea have the best air in the whole country. That is totally a lie. We shall come to the facts about that. But we are not here to talk about Namara. He wants to actually talk about fashion today. We are from Fashion by Tekigenda. And today I'm talking about the fashion industry. Not exactly what she told you. That I'm not here to say that don't put on ABC as she said you put on. I'm here to tell you that the impacts of the fashion industry to the environment and in the whole world as a whole. We have some, for example, the big brands of fashion. We have Zara, we have H&M, we have McCartney and a number of others. Of course, and some that you know, Polo, there are Nikes and all that. For example, Zara itself is worth about 13 billion, over 13 billion. It has more stores in more than 93 countries worldwide. So that means the more they produce, the more they consume. Now, the issue about fashion today, especially to be specific, fast fashion. Fast fashion is every part of everything can be turned into something. That you have a shirt, it's going old, and they find another way of putting it, and then you find they're producing more and more of a new fashion. Technically, every week they come up with a new style, and you don't know the consumption. The global consumption is so high, especially for clothes, because we all have that problem of consumerism. I want what is trending now. Tomorrow there's a new thing I want it. Another day there's another thing I want it. and you end up having like 1,000 clothes in your closet that you don't even need. You find that you have like 50 trousers, for example, but you're only using about 5. That means you just have that issue of consumerism, but it doesn't mean that you're actually using the whole of it. So when we come to that, it means that the more we consume, we get, the more we consume, and the more we consume, the more we dump. Because with time, obviously, especially with this trendy stuff, they have bleached jeans, for example. You want something, because you want a lot of it, you're going to buy low quality, and when you buy low quality, it means it's going to take a short lifespan, and when that wears off, it obviously definitely means you're going to drop it. You're going to dump it, and it ends in landfills, and landfills are obviously affecting the environment, and it's a whole chain. I've already told you at this segment that nothing happens in isolation of anything else. Everything is just a chain of command. I believe in causation. One thing leads to another, another leads to another. So you can look at fashion and think, definitely, how does it connect to environment? But it does, and in a very drastic way, just to be sure. So the issue is that, especially for the trendy fashions, majority of them are polyester. There's that material called polyester, there's nylon, there's some others, cotton, but polyester, to be specific, is something that actually uses fossil fuels in production, and you know how fossil fuel affects the environment. So that polyester, the other downside about it, apart from that much production resource, it also is a non-biodegradable thing. So it takes about 20 to 200 years to decompose, you can imagine. So imagine everywhere you drop those materials that are made of polyester, they take that long to decompose. So imagine what happens to the land that those whatevers are being dropped. You see landfills, you see when all these are collected and adopted in one place, you can imagine that place is not going to be productive for about 20 years. That's the minimum. 20 years, or even 50 or 200, you can imagine what you would have used that land for in 200 years. So it's a detriment to the environment and to the people as a whole. Now, according to Forbes, about 70 million barrels of oil are used every year to produce, for the fashion industry generally, to produce polyester and fashion as a whole, not just polyester alone. Now, 70 million barrels, man, is too much oil, and they're being used every year. Now, that means that also has, because usually when this thing is done being used, the oil, it usually ends up in runways and ends up in rivers and lakes. And obviously now that is another thing, because now you don't have clean water to consume. The fish that you have that you eat from, there are fish for communities that depend on fish as their staple food. They're definitely going to run hungry rather, because they don't have enough to consume, because the oil that's being dropped and spilled in the rivers cannot let these fish grow. So that is another thing. That is what I'm saying, that it's a causation, it's a whole thing. So the whole issue is about fashion is that we need to stop the consumerism thing. This thing of I wake up, tomorrow is a new trend and I want it. Tomorrow is a new cloth. Zara has produced something and you want to grab it as it appears. Something happens on the market, you want to even order it there and get it shipped so that you can have it fast. It's bad, and not just for us, but for the environment as a whole. You might not see it directly, but yes, that is actually happening. Fast fashion alone produces more greenhouse gases, by the way, than the aviation industry and the shipping industry combined. Shipping is this thing that happens on water, because of course, they use oil, so there's that greenhouse, that air that accumulates and goes into the air, and same for the aviation, the airplanes and stuff. Now, the combination of those two, fashion industry produces more greenhouse gases, more than the two of them combined, you can imagine. So it's too much, but you cannot see it right away, because you believe, it's just a cloth, how does it even get to oil? But even in this whole thing, majority of these clothes they put on, there's that dyeing they do, because clothes, they dyed them to different colors, and there's too much resources that are used to do the dyeing, the bleaching. You see those jeans that they bleach, they're actually more dangerous to the environment than anything else. You've seen that, the neem and all that. Those things are very, very, very dangerous to the environment. Now I want to talk about fashion and all the other consequences that comes with it. Our fashion industry, first of all, uses excessive water, and that I've said, even in dyeing that I was saying, apart from the like oil and other toxic substances that are actually used to the environment, they are toxic to the environment, more water is used. About 10,000 kilos of water is necessary to produce 1 kg of cotton, you can imagine. But that also goes back to the production part, how much is consumed in the production, then manufacturing, and then that dyeing and bleaching and all that. So you can imagine that whole water is being used. But there are communities around the world that don't even have fresh water for drinking, just drinking. So you can imagine, you can see that is very wrong. Then we have plastic microfibers. Now, microfibers is this. For example, this I am putting on. I put it on specifically for you. Now, this thing, when you use especially like a washing machine, there are those microfibers. They are called synthetic fibers, but microplastics that wears off in small particles. Now, when you use these things, you're going to definitely drop, like you pour it. And most times, obviously, it's going to run away. When it rains, that runs out into the rivers. It's dangerous, first of all, to the environment because they have toxins. And for example, like lead, mercury, and arsenic, and a number of others that are so detrimental to the environment. But it also runs away to the oceans. Now, in the process, it affects the food web, the food chain, and food security as a whole. When it runs away, it's going to end out in rivers, and then in rivers, those small fish are going to probably consume them, and then big fish will eat the small fish, and then you will eat the big fish. So you find it's a causation, it's a chain. And an ordinary person will not know this, because when you don't do research, obviously you want to know it. And it's going to sound like cliche, because you say you can't just say that this thing is going to come from close and then to the river and then to the small fish and to the big one. But that's the whole thing. And obviously it ends up in your body, and that is obviously dangerous for all of us. So for the safety, you see, it's coming from clothes and fashion to the food security. So you find that you don't have food, there is scarcity, obviously there's going to be hunger, and when hunger strikes, what happens? People die. But it's coming from fashion and you won't be knowing it. So it's dangerous, and you have to look at all those things when you're going about your fashion trends and all that. Of course, there are those that are sustainable, and you probably have to look out for them, because uninformed, you're going to obviously be using things like this, and when you use them, they are dangerous in one way or another. Just make research. There are those that are a little bit friendly to the environment. Now, there's excessive consumption. That is the same thing I was saying. You want a cloth that's affordable. It's obviously going to be, let's say, 500,000. You buy like 10 of them, 500,000. But because it is affordable, it is cheap, it is definitely low quality. Now, if it's low quality, it obviously is going to wear out in a shorter period. Or and it's worn out, and you're going to definitely drop it. When it bleaches and it wears out, it's going to end up in landfills. About 85% of all discarded clothing end up in landfills, by the way. Now, landfills is like like there's a very big heap of it. Now, those are the landfills. You find those materials that are overused are dropped in certain places. Now, those certain places are not going to be productive, and it's very dangerous, of course. And it is said that if that trend continues, by the way, there's going to be about 50% increase in greenhouse gas emissions in about a decade. A decade is just 10 years. So you shouldn't think it's very far. So fashion has a lot of issues. I wanted to take you through, as I conclude, about a little bit of some facts. First of all, the fashion industry is worth about $2.5 trillion. That is the whole industry as one. And it also employs about 75 million people worldwide. So it's very important for the economy. But if we don't rethink it, it's obviously going to affect all of us, because it affects the environment that we live in. Now, it's also responsible for 10% of all humanity's carbon emissions. You can imagine 10% is too much, you guys. Now, the facts I wanted to take you is that equivalent of one garbage truck is burned or dumped in a landfill every second, according to the UNEP, that is United Nations Environment Program of 2018. One garbage truck is dropped every second. You can imagine what happens in a year. Now, 60% of fashion materials are made from plastics. Of course, me and you know what plastics are and how much impact they have on the environment. bino mbitamu lukwakwayo, you need 500,000 tons of microfibers are released. I told you what microfibers are, the synthetic materials are released in the ocean each year, which is equivalent to about 50 billion plastic bottles. 50 billion. You can imagine. And that has an impact, man. You're not going to look at it, you're not going to see it, but these things are so dangerous. And about 93 billion cubic meters of water, which is enough to meet the needs of about 5 million people, by the way, is used by the fast fashion industry annually. Now, our communities don't have fresh water, like I said. Those people don't have water to drink, they don't have water for home consumption, but the industry alone consumes that water that about 5 million people could have used in a year. So it's very dangerous, and we need to rethink it. And now there's a few solutions. The others I would like to share, but time won't let. But the options we have is you buy second-hand clothes. It's very important. So that means that when it comes from one place, another person can use it. That means this habit of consumerism is fault. That I have used it now. If another fashion, new fashion comes, I'm going to drop this. Just give it to another person or take it back. It's called a circular economy. It goes around, comes to the consumer and then goes back and comes. The chain just keeps going. You buy less, obviously that is the same. It means if you buy a clothes, just drop it. Use it for at least 5 or 10 years. You can really do that. And then choose sustainable brands. There are those. Of course, you have to make some research. That comes with being informed about your choices. You can donate them. There are people out there who don't have actually clothes to put on. They need those clothes as much as you don't think. So when you're done, you don't want it, you have a new fashion, just donate it. Some other people are going to use it. Simply, it's just that circular economy. It comes from the material, it goes to the manufacturer, it goes to the producer or the retailer, and then it goes to the user, the end person. Now you can choose to maintain it, you can reuse it by giving back to the retailer, or you can refurbish it. That goes to the manufacturer to make something different out of that cloth, or you can recycle it. Just the material and use it for something. You make a bag out of probably a shirt. You just find something different to do with that cloth instead of dropping it. Now, a few companies like Nike and H&M are trying to take that circular economy in their production trend, and they're trying to use that cycle that materials are not dropped, they are being reused in one way or another. So simply putting, I want to conclude that fashion is good. And I'm not saying you shouldn't wear or buy clothes. What I'm saying is it should be sustainable, and it shouldn't be, you don't have to drop. You don't have to just run and jump onto every trend that comes. Try to reuse those materials. And if you want the trend, please try to recycle those materials or donate them. There are people around the world that need those resources. So just don't be mean. Try to think about the environment and also think about the people around you. It affects the food web. It affects everything around you. So yeah, that's what I have for you. Fashion, please try to be inclusive. That's what I have for the fashion today, and for you as a segment. I have Lilin Luwedde today, and she's going to be coming in another hour, coming with Edgar, Mathew, Karuhanga. And I want to thank you for watching us and always keeping it the alternative. Thank you for watching. My name
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Teweerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come. Men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yenna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku makyabbaga nti nsitudde ttu. Naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyandyagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
Omusajja bulijjo muwa ssente mu kibanja mpola ng'asonda poloti ennungi naye ngenza okutuuka nga woofiisi bulijjo wenteeka ssente baavaawo nadda essimu tebazikwata kyokka nga n'ebyentambula byakaweerega ebiseera bya kovidi yenga ndabye
gwe baakubye naye lwaki weesiga abafere lwaki tewanneebuuzaako ne nkulagirira ba praise nze be bannyamba nze ndyokke
Praise Property Consultants Uganda Limited bagula n'okutunda ettaka kw'ossa n'amayumba bapunta ettaka ne bakwanguyiza okufuna ekyapa bazimba amayumba kw'ossa n'okuba plan ne architectural design balina ploti enteeketeeke wonna w'ogyetaaze ate ku byapa ebya private Miloland n'ebibanja ku ttaka lya Kabaka era bakkiriza ekibanja mpola basange Wandegeya mu katale ka KCCA Southern Wing leve y'okusatu lumu 128 oba ku ssimu 0706 147 06 ne 0783 821 918.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Drive your program Jolly Mukulaba amanyi nze omumbejja Luwedde Lilin. Lero nno lunaku lwakuna era nga kutegeza buli lwakuna ebeera in-house Thursday. So gwe munnange kansubire ate gye twatandikidde okutuuka we tuli kaakano tufunyemu ebyokuyiga bingi. Tufunye amawulire, tufunye fashion tips ne environmental tips. Omwami n'ayogera ku fashion simanyi lwaki leero azze n'ensonga ya fashion ayagala tulemesa ndowooza kwambala kunyirira naye ndowooza byonna ate abo bitegedde bulungi byayogeddeko. Tuli mu ssaawa yaffe ey'okubiri era nga tugenda kuba twogera ku nsonga ezibadde zigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. Tugenda kuba tuzikubaganyako ebirowoozo wamu ne munnange Edgar Mathew Karuhanga agenda kuba nga atubuuzaako mu ddakiika ntono nnyo okuva kati naye nga kutegeeza nti Praise Property Consultants bakugamba oyagala okugula ettaka oyagala okuzimba nnyumba ey'ekirooto kyo oyagala kuba nga ate ogoba ku nsonga ya kyapa munnange ate beeyunire nnyo ofiisi zaabwe ziri wali Wandegeya akatale ka KCCA era nga osobola okuba nga obafuna ne bakulambuza plots ze balina plots futa 5 ku buli 10 bitundu by'eggwanga ebyenjawulo omwo nno mulimu Nansana mulimu Matuga mulimu Bujuuko mulimu n'ebitundu by'eggwanga ebyenjawulo ku Ntebe Road balinayo so genda munnange ate naawe obeeyunire weezimbire ennyumba ey'ekirooto kyo oba ogule ettaka ate lyoba oyagala okuzimba kuba kulagirire na butya bw'osobola okuba nga ate ozimba ennyumba yo oba na biki ebirala by'osobola okuba nga okolera ku ttaka lyo. Ennamba zaabwe ziri 0706 147 006 oba 0783821918 zenamba zaabwe zosobola okuba nga ate obafunirako. Kansooke anyanirize Edgar Mathew Karuhanga asooka atubuuzeko tutandikirawo wennyini Edgar.
Wanjinyabo.
Wasuzo otya.
Nasuze bulungi.
Sanyu lyoyina lya mochi wagonja simanyi livaawa.
Nedda kyokula omuntu atuka kutukana. Nafuna stress yawe.
Atuka nakola ki?
Nakutukanga stress yoka.
Omulaba kuseka. Bakusuubiza byotafuna.
No, by the way, I'm happy. I'm okay. Kujjako mubibanyi. I don't know, it's just a good day. Every day is a good day.
It's a sunny day.
Yeah, and
Obudde si bwakinnyika gobenga.
Obudahanga obwotero okubwagala naye ensi ekimanya batula batumanya ne ayagala nnyo obudde bw'ekinnyika gobe. But bannayuganda nababuuzizaako dda ku makya era nziramu okubabuuza omulundi ogwokubiri nti mwasuze mutya bassebo ne bannyabo naye nyongera okubeebaza okubanga mubeera ku show yaffe ŋŋanze eno The Mighty Drive buli lunaku okuva ku Monday paka ku lunaku olwokutaano kuba ssaawa emu ey'okumakya paka ssaawa 3 si kya bulijjo okusanga abantu nga babakeerirako ne bakosa data waabwe kubanga babalaba bantu bangi abatulaba era mbeebaza mwenna abasindika feedback abakomentinga mwenna abatulaze omukwano kiba kya ssanyu nnyo era ffe tubasuubiza okuba nga tugenda kubaweereza aleka tugenda bongeramu tetulaba na kwanveiringa studio zaffe tandisa okubabbirako waliwo studio ono zetugenda okwanveiringa bagenda kuziraba bannayuganda ebipya bingi byokya era Mighty Drive mugenda girabanga nga oluusi mugira muvaani olaba mugira ku main center yennyini yes nga mulaba buli kimu kye tuba tulina tubategekedde ebintu bingi era abatamanyi alternative bannange mweyongera okuba nga mutwegattako mweyongera okusharinga videos n'abantu balabe mubabuli nti waliwo ekipya ekikola ki ekijja kubanga ekijja kyo kigenda kubanga simanyi nange yakidescribinga kyekyo kyennyini kitokota si kisaanikire yes
toyanziza
amawulire no mangi
ogasaka
nga noonyereza mpolampola gwe mulimu gwaffe omulimu gwange kubanga noonyeza bannayuganda ebibeera gye bataabadde era mu mawulire amangi ge tulinawo okujjako zino tezibale topic of discussions naye waliwo omukyala bamwita Tudabu oba Tudabu erinnya kandi noonya wano mu kifo ky'okumuwaayiriza bamuyita Taduba Taduba yayokyeza omuyambi we ow'ewaka house help nsanga nnyo bayita ba maid is a bad word abazungu abo batuteekako ebigambo byabwe ebyo maid no she's a house help oba omuyambi w'ewaka oba ffe nze nakula mbayita anti kati abo ba anti baffe abo kati omukyala yadde ne anti we amuyambako ewaka Mutangela n'amuyira amazzi agookya naye nga yaloose nti ayagala bbaawe okitegeera so kiringa nze wennaaloota mbu Lilin yanzibye ssente nenkeera nenkuba Lilin kubanga nze ndoose nga Lilin anzibyeko ssente so ekyo nako mukiwulira nga Amini yakikola we yaloota nti abayindi abazungu bajja muwambako bikira baga abazungu bonna bagende naloose nga bonna balinyenyi bazeewo abo abayindi
n'abagoberaawo
naye
ekintu ekyo nga kibi
it is really shame kyalo wane bunga no siwala wane bunga nga wetuli kumpi wana polisi yasitukiddemu omukyala Taduba ali mabega wa Mitayimbwa wetwogerera
yego bayokyezaliwa
goyokyeza ali mu ddwaliro ali mu nasinga biwundu
ebisago bingi
nabirabye nga yena wano bamutaddeko bandage kumpi omugongo gwonna yakuta n'amuyira amazzi ng'amusuubiriza okuba nga yamwagalidde omusajja oba omuganzi we. So it is really a shaming and those are
we try to call a snap talk omukyala Farida yalina akantu ke yayogerako n'agamba nti omukyala yenna bw'obanga toli confident enough okola ebintu by'otasaanidde kukola w'ova n'ogenda n'olumba muwala muno oba mukyala muno n'omugamba nviira ku musajja naye gwe bw'obanga okimanyi nti nze oba nnyimirira neŋŋa nti ddala kituufu neetengeredde ndi mukyala ate ebyo ebintu oba tojja bikola because wekkiririzaamu gwe ng'omuntu okkiriza nti nze ndi kino ndi bwe nti ne bwe nti omwami wange nsobola omukuuma nga ndi bwe nti ne bwe nti oba nga nkoze bino
ate n'omwami tebamukuuma abakyala nze ndooza ekyo kyababubako omwami yeekuuma yekka. So you just be you?
No, waliwo ebintu byo nawe kenyini byokola ng'omuntu ebireetera omuntu okusigalawo naye bw'obanga naye tokyabikola
gwe just do your role sina kusigala lwaki abawala bagamba mbu ayina osigala genda wa osigala wa that rhetoric is wrong.
asigala mu matwale gotabuka
nze kyendowooza abakyala kuba kati nze njogera for a men's perspective omukyala just be you. Omwami anaakwagala nga bw'oli omanyi bino wetuba twogera oluusi bagamba olina okukola kino please ng'omusajja olina omukolera bino no a right man will still oba omukoledde ekyo omuntu ayagala gwe tayagala by'omukolera bw'aba asazeewo kwagala Lilin agenda kwagala Lilin nga bwazze bw'aba Lilin takola mirimu waba Lilin munafu waba tamanyi kufumba yoyo gwakoze eki oyinza okusanga ikyeni mugamba love is just love so abantu bali ate wali byakwagala nze kyeni
olaba Edgar ebintu bino bimataringa nnyo kyoyinza okudatinga omuntu nga byoyagala yesi byayagala kati awo olina okumanya ayagala ki biki ebimujjako oba ne mugezaako ne mulaba engeri gye mucompromisinga muntu
okukwatagana n'omuntu nga ebintu bye mutafaananya tebiwera. It's always very difficult.
Tuli ku Mighty Snap
Talk. Okay, but then just change agalaga abakyala. Baleme kwemalamu nnyo because ayagala omusajja amulabe oba omusajja amutunulire.
Of course ekyo kyennyini kyako.
Abakyala basinga bakikola nnyo. Kimutiisa na mutiisa. Ne bana tuve mu bintu byala.
Kyeyakoze kintu kibi nnyo nze nange kennyini nkivumirira nese kuvumirira yenna twasobola kuva eri n'oyo kya muntu.
Nga waliwo ne woba olina obukakafu
oba omusuubiriza kale mugamba akuve
ne woba olina obukakafu mazima ddala okwokya omuntu
no talina bukakafu bukakasa nti oddala ono kituufu amwakiuzinga okuba nti amwagalira omusajja bw'aba nga talina bukakafu ne waba alina obukakafu ekyo kyeyakoze kikyaba
definitely nange kyeni mugamba
aba sina kindi yali mugambye n'adamula n'amuviira n'agenda ensonga neziggwera
kituufu kituufu abakyala twekomeko ndoza Lilin we have a lot on the plate today as the in-house Thursday jukira ku in-house Thursday twogera ku miramu egiba gisinze okutrendinga oba okutambula mu ggwanga Uganda ne wabweru w'eggwanga kati olunaku lwaleero tulina stories ezibadde zitambula mu wiiki yonna nga in-house tube nga tuzoogerako ne mukyala Lilin ono Lilin katandikire ku nsonga ey'abasomesa abasomesa b'eggwanga jukira poliisi y'abasomesa wa slogan egamba because we are the nation is, which is very true. Kubanga webali eggwanga nalyo liki nalyo weeriri. So omwami president Yoweri Kaguta Museveni we had celebrating olunaku lwabwe jukira lulina olunaku lwennyini olwabwe teyaliiwo teyasobola kwatendinga mukolo ogwo so yadde alina okuddamu bakole omukolo omupya yes yali mu expo so balina okuddamu bakole omukolo omupya wano Clare Street bwe yamiitinze abasomesa ne boogera bingi ebibadde bibaluma omwavudde n'ensonga ey'omusomesa omwe yagambye that all teachers are teachers anti bali ba plannings okubanga bongeza emisala gy'aba science teachers naye nga aba arts babalese era nga naffe aba arts tuli basomesa era naffe tuweereza ggwanga mutuyambe naffe mutwongeze ku ki ku musaala omwami baguma oyo omusomesa naye alinnya lya trendies eryo eryabaguma nalyo weyamaliriza president Tibwabula teyakitutte mu bulungi n'ayogera ebigambo bingi malirizayo kubanga ndawe nawe okategeera kasitole ako
nze mu byonna byayogedde yalina engeri gye yabajjukizaamu nti ye mukulembeze w'eggwanga
yalaze naye ekintu yakinyiigiddemu nnyo
ng'abajjukiza nti nze mukulembeze w'eggwanga
naye ndaba yakinyiigiddemu nnyo Lilin.
Was that the right way of responding? Ensonga yabadde kuba science teachers ng'ayogera ng'agamba nti ffenna tuli basomesa
definitely
aba sciences n'aba arts because aba sciences okubongeza omusala kiva kuba nti bo kye bakola balina kye bongera ku ggwanga
innovation president yagambe innovation and productivity
abasomesa ba arts naye nga ate bonna basigala baki bonna basigala basomesa yes because waliwo abantu abakoze ebintu eby'enjawulo nga bakola arts nga tebakola sciences nti si buli muntu nti agenda kola sciences oba si buli muntu nti agenda kubeera musomesa tujja kwetaaga aba engineer tujja kwetaaga abantu ate abakola ebintu ebirala ba researcher mu ngeri emu oba endala so nze ndowooza omukulembeze w'eggwanga yakitutte so personal
anti nange kyeŋŋamba kubanga n'engeri gye yali playinze yalaze ng'obusungu alina obungi
I want to remind you I'm the president of Uganda
yes
n'agamba nti tetwetaaga kututeeka ku nninga ye bw'atyo bwe yayogedde tetwetaaga kututeeka ku nninga ekyo yakyogedde ku nsonga yakugulawo masomero ng'agamba nti abantu abasinga bavuddeyo ne bamugamba president gulawo amasomero kola bwoti ne bwoti abaana balina okuddayo okusoma abaana bafunye embuto naye bw'oba ojjukidde engeri gye yayogeramu luli eri nti abaana wadde bafunye embuto naye tebafudde
definitely yabadde nnyo advocate w'ensonga ezo naye nze njagala nsooka ekitunuulye mu perspective bweti nti first of all tufenna eggwanga limanyi for the last 2 years abasomesa badde tebalina ssente kyekisooka both our arts n'aba sciences okujjako abakolera government so there's been a lot of exodus from the teaching industry kati abasomesa abantu badda mu mirimu ate kati saa zino omusomesa badda alukumbyeko okusente za business osanga azifuna akawerako yesu oba akayinja buli lunaku kyeka atuuse nga tagenda kudda kuki ku ssomero kati ekyo Museveni naye yali kitadde in perspective ate ne mwami baguma omusomesa yakiikiridde abasomesa teyakyogedde from a perspective nti nno amuyisaamu maaso ng'omukulembeze w'eggwanga but rather yakireese nga agamba look at it this way we need an equitable share nti omanyi naffe bakwate batuwonge naye bataali bongezza nnyo nga abasomesa aba sciences because all of us know science is this future now that people are doing by being innovative and everything but then he would have looked at it at a perspective that these people are talking as teachers and please teachers mwongerako katono even if you don't add them as much as you've added the science teachers but at least yongerako katono because they are all building the country and we know bonna yes definitely kati ensonga gye yayogedde ku ngana byaddala ntuufu ate ne poverty rates abasomesa baavu ennaku zino banaye tukikize sina nnaku zino even from time memorial teachers have been looked at as poor people mulumwa wamu namwe yes but ate for you are different from me twagala ate tuwere ebintu bino twefuula abatabitegeera mulumirirwa naye ate kyetuyitamu mwe temukiyitamu omusomesa yamanyi engeri gyake omanyi abantu bakeera buli lunaku nga tamanyi nakyagenda kukola
President Museveni alina n'akalala ke yayogedde challenge my authority and see what happens
era ekyo kyo bulijjo akyogera ye omukulu oyo ye ebintu byabyekakasa
n'obusungu bungi simanyi obuzibu bwavuddewa naye bw'otunuulira engeri gye yayogeddemu tetwetaaga tuteeka ku nninga challenge my authority and see what happens
But President Tiwabura has been known to be someone who's outspoken. Ye oluusi ebintu bye byabyogera kutaganya okumuchallenging buyinza bwe. Kyaba akugambye yabakkiriza kyekisinga ate kyekirungi ekyeggwanga gwe kyoba omugambye yaba takirowoozaako. But then the challenge is to what extent is this going to continue? Because now the teachers are also going to withdraw. Because mbadde mbawo obusente butono ate bakomewo after 2 years of sitting at home ate bakomewo on the same pay. Naye egenda kubeera challenge. Naye nga kyali badde
batunuddemu ku nsonga y'abasawo. Abasawo aba intern doctors n'abasawo bennyini engeri gye batunuddemu ku nsonga yaabwe ne balaba nti okay bano bafuna akasente katono beetaaga bongezebwe n'abasomesa nabo batunuulirwe because omusomesa naye contributing kinene nnyo kukulaakulana kw'eggwanga alina kya contributing kyamaanyi nnyo whether musomesa wa sciences whether musomesa wa arts oba musomesa bamba bayita by historians abatasomesa sciences but bonna balina
kinga history mazima talina kye yatugasa nyinamu yange naye talina kye yangasa
tweyongere abagala okubeera aba politician history alina kyakola
even if you do physics chemistry math you can be a politician. I've been using doctors who are politicians. And naye kati ate kuyamba ki?
No, but politician amanya nti ebintu ng'ebyo bijja kubaawo bw'anaabanga emukulembeze.
The only system that would actually, the only subject that would actually open people's minds bagita political education. Singa abantu bali basoma political education era omukulu Tiwabula we yajja mu buyinza n'agiscrapping off because yalaba
bana bali bakola political era nga ffe tubayita bannabyabufuzi
n'agiscrapping off yalabanga kati eno subject weeraga egenda kuggula omanyi let me tell you when you take power or when you win as a king, you always have to kill the king leaders. Or sorry, the king makers. Because if you don't kill king makers, they will make another king like apart from you. Ochitegera. Kyovola ono kano mama dodomboya oyatuse mbuyinza bajeno naye atandise obagobaganya bagamba bannaye mugende mu ale retirement. Kuwanga omanyi bali ba king maker baba basobola okukola omuntu nga gwe basobola okukolayo omuntu omulala nga alinga gwe. So that is politics for you. Era oli we yalabanga subject ene yinza okuba enlightening obwongo bw'abantu. Ngoga manyi system tukole ki tujijjemu era musigale nga mulina oblivion.
Dani mulika naye yayogera naga nti edda basomanga civics.
Yes, civics ne civics bajijjawo. Ebintu ebibuusa tebabiyitibwa biremera.
Ensonga y'abasomesa nsonga nkulu nnyo.
Abasomesa nkulu nnyo
bonna bw'owuliranga bonna boogera ekintu kyekimu boogera olulimi lweru nti ffenna tuli basomesa tulina kye tucontributinga aba sciences balina kye bacontributing oba oli awo naffe aba arts tulina kye tucontributinga nti naffe batutunulemu mu nsonga yaffe sigamba nti ate ffe tetulina nnyo kyamaanyi kyetugatta ku ggwanga actually omukulembeze w'eggwanga ekintu kino ekyabasomesa ba sciences okuva covid-19 we yatandikira abadde ng'akyogerako
naye ng'ate kyekituufu kyakola kituufu okujjako engeri gyakikolamu si yentuufu kyakola abasayansi abeetaaga okubanga
bwe banaaba ensonga zaabwe tezitunuliddwawo aba sciences n'aba arts kigenda kuba demoralizing nti abasomesa ba arts bajja kugwamu amaanyi balabe nga baba talina kye bacontributinga
the thing ekyo kituufu nnyo but they will still work that is what President Museveni is counting on that they will still work because they need the money omanyi one is better than zero
okujja ku ssomero nsonga ndala n'okuyingira mu kibiina n'osomesa abaana nayo nsonga ndala jajjanga kutuuka mu kibiina they will work of course they will get their salaries
Chogamba they will get we shall have students
nali nzijukira bwe nali mu senior 1 omusomesa wa history yajjanga n'atugamba nze kati mundaba wano nsobola okujja nenyimirira ku mulyango nemala nefuluma nenzirayo omusala gwange nengufuna naye ng'ate gwe sikusomesezza hey
yeah, it is very true. But the thing is, I'm speaking from a reality point of view. Chitufu bagenda kubasala emisala. Ate nayo tekigenda kubasanyusa. Of course, kigenda be demoralizing generally. But the thing is, they will still come back to work. But their level of productivity, of course, is going to be low. It's going to be so low. But then President Tibuhaburwa, kati ye tanakira bya mulenzi bwetu. Tuvaze mbadde ngamba. Singa na babongezaako. Omanyi kati abantu kiba a mind wants satisfaction. Nti Lilin omuwadde mutwalo nange mpa mutwalo naye Lilin oba omuwadde gumu kitundu kale mpa gumu bbiri the satisfaction is nyongeddwako si nyongeddwako kiki ne just mwongereko because kasitona amuteeka mbongo mumanyi kwongeddeko zino psychologically oba omuwinize and when you win a person psychologically you're good to go so ekyo katulabe engeri kikigenda okubanga kyanfolding
ngende ne kugulawo amasomero nagamba nti
amasomero go he is so right
abamwogerako abogera ku kugulawo amasomero bonna basoma bamanyi ebintu bino naye ate bamutadde ku pressure yamanyi nti amasomero
he is so right ekyo nange mukkiririzaamu era newe yayogera era najja ne wano ku drive ne mbagamba ekyo kyayogera nti abaana okufuna embuto bate balwadde it is 100% also right
naye mchala kataha naye nayongerezaako nagamba nti abaana okufuna embuto kyeyongedde okulaga abazadde nti tebakoze
nenga kyekituufu
nti mugamba amasomero gagulewo naye mwagala kwetikkulako omugugu obuweereze
definitely that's the thing when you look at students and the parents and the teachers but okuva over time tubadde tulabanga ba teachers okusinga tulaba baki ba parents and in the time we've been at school there have been pregnancies but there have been minimum naye wewaddiza abaana ne babaddiza abazadde baabwe ate nekikola ate in fact bazadde baabwe abasinga bibadde babafunisiza n'embuto bakazini baabwe baoluganda baabwe you get those things incest is on the rise and things like that kikulaga ki that wadde abantu oluusi bagala nnyo just okwagiwenga ne the leaders bano okubeera nga tebakwatagana nabo but when you look at what Mr. Tibuhaburwa is saying it is very right what the first lady is saying is very right that first of all when they gave back the students to their parents to their own parents mothers and fathers they're the ones who have been reluctant and the students have actually become pregnant over time so chikulaga mbu parents bwenyini baluzinga control ya abaana baabwe naye otunula ne Mr. Tibuhaburwa kyayogera ku reopening of schools bannange tuleme okwogera from a sentimental point of view tukola decisions nga twanguwa bwanguyi ebintu tubirowoozeeko nga bannayuganda abaana tobagemye obatwalawa buli water every time buli water yeah 15% ye yakagemewa kubandi ku basomesa emitwalo 5 15% ebeera omukulu Rogers ajja gitukalculatinga naye kyemanyi tesukka ndoza eba tesukka mitwalo nga 10 n'ebiri awo weewati baba bali emitwalo 5 ekitegeeza mitwalo nga 10 na gumu kuba biri 14.9 ya byenene nnyo togenda kusindika mwana mukukola ki mu gatherings n'ebyo kubanga abaana njagala tusooke tukikakase tukikirize nti abaana bogenda okusindika kusoma tebagenda kukola ebyo byamwe mukola simaya social distancing wearing a mask they are not going to do them but this is the reality ebyo ne biba mu class tebajja kuba katoloza abaana bagenda kumala bambala mask emirundi emeka ajja kujambala first day second day tuogere ebyaddala Kusalide nga tebakyazambala. Mu wiki bbiri nga tebakyazambala. Ku namba z'abaana abalala.
Enamba y'abaana ffe twasomanga mu kirasi nga mulimu abaana 16 obagambe nti mukolesa social distancing. Yes, I'm a product of UPE and I'm a product of UCE. Nga mutula mu kirasi nga mulimu abaana 16. Kati 16 bw'ogamba nti ogenda kukola social distancing, that is only one stream.
And do you even have the space?
If you combine all the streams, the
four
streams.
Do they even have the facilities to sanitize every time? Those things, let's come back to reality, ladies and gentlemen. It is impossible right now to open schools. Let them first vaccinate. Nga we agamba. Kasita is a population in 4.8 or 5 million. I also will gamba. At least go. But don't tell me that you want schools to open for what? To infest again, because we never zayo era bagenda kudamba lwali era tudde mu third wave endala
zikira abana be bayo nagamba abasomesa batugamba nga tusirike olonge ekirwadde kya COVID-19 kitandise okunyinyiikira. Yes, ne babagamba abasomesa nga bagamba abaana musirike temwogera naye abaana bano bagenda nga okuddayo ewaka agenda okuddayo ewaka nga asiiga maama agenda okuddayo ewaka asiiga jjajja so obulwadde ne bweyongera nnyo ekiseera ekyo so amasomero saawa zino nze ndaba nange mukulaba okwange bazirenga balindako okugaggulawo basooke gavumenti ekole kyeyina okukola eteeketeeke so that amasomero gano weganaaba gagguddwawo ate tetudda mu nsonga
zezimu ezaluli tuleme kupapa kyekyo ekizibu ky'abannayuganda
tufunemu ekyokuyiga.
Bannayuganda baagala nnyo okupapa naye nga ate kirina nekyo ne munekya yaffe we like to make rash decisions naye nga tetuzeekakasizaako but over time when you start okola ensobi nnyingi oyigirira mu nsobi yo oba toyigidde mu nsobi yo then kati awo Museveni watandika okudaabigana agamba you a fool omuntu atayigira ku nsobi ze wokolanga mistake y'omulundi ogusoose Lilin n'ogwokubiri togiddanga mu lwakusatu because the first time it's a mistake, the second time may be another mistake, but the third time it's a decision oba osazeewo kukikola ekyo. So the fact is this, tuleke kuteeka mukulembeze w'eggwanga ku pressure ku bintu byannaffe bye tusobola okukozesa obwongo baffe netulaba mbuno biri impractical togenda kutwala abaana obwexposing obulwadde bwoti.
Nabadde ndaba mawulire weekend still nga boogera ku baana abasomera online nti kyongedde obuseegu bungi nnyo mu baana.
Definitely computers ne technology yajja n'emigaso mingi ne ku migaso egyo ate yayonoona nnyo. I'm telling you, what ICT did and technology, Facebook, do you know Lilin, abantu bali bamanyedda addictions zibeera kumwenge, sigala, njaga, bichebyo. This is an addiction. My God, have you ever met people nga abena n'embatu naye nga ali bwati? Nga ne wabeera ku mmere ali bwati? Chikuwa chechisinga chino because you're going to buy that very many people, our friends, our societies, our parents nze nalinda beko muzadde nga buli sawa tava ku simu eno ninga mlibuno nga ne bamunyumiza abana you know we've put our brains in these devices kati fatunoza addictions ugwe ali addicted ku simu no mulala ali addicted ku tugambe obo omwenge temulina njawulo ki. I've seen someone who loses a phone and they become depressed.
They
become depressed. Naberawo ngalinga abulwako atana omanyi omuntu nga
tannabula naye nga just functions ezimu tezikola n'omuwulira omutima gumutunduka
kyangu nnyo obanga omuntu omulala yeewoze ku ssimu ye okitegeera nagamba pola ku ssimu yo nkubeko ku ssimu eddakiika 5 mu ddakiika y'okubiri ng'omulaba papa
waliwo abantu abamu essimu zaabwe baziterekamu ebintu eby'enjawulo nga yeeraliikirira okugikuwaako eddakiika 3.
But there are people who are actually addicted to these things. Bana addictions ziri real ebintu bino technology katulaba abaana kyogaye batandise okwonooneka byebyo agenda n'akwata essimu wano wakyogirako
balaze nti abaana abasinga boononekedde ku masimu
wano wakyogirako ku in-house ndooza ya wiiki nga 3 emabega nti abaana babeera ku computer zino nga guddeko tablets nga 4
agula tabu nya emu esatu za kusoma sinemu 3 za kusoma kati gwe bojjola mwana nga asoma naye yemu jaggulawo akubala ebigera abikubala ngojja mami I'm reading agamba I'm reading nga wano wagalawo bwa
era kino bana abazadde abatuuliza kibakwateko nnyo nze netegereza because kati ffe mu ghetto gye tubeera eyo olabe ebintu bingi ndabye abaana abato naye ng'ebintu bye bakola bannange ng'omwana wa 2 years naye ng'ebintu bye basanga bakola olabe eddala ebintu biswaza like bikutiisa n'okutiisa ng'omuntu n'ogamba at this age if this person is doing this what are they going to do at 20 plus or 18 plus or in fact at 10 or 15 if a 2-year-old baby can do such a thing abaana tubakuume naye ate kiva ku abaana bino ebintu omanyi bino ebintu by'abazungu bazadde b'ennaku zino bayize ebintu by'abazungu ffe tetwabikulirako omwana tebamukuba omwana tagambwako omwana neiba tasobola mugambako kati ekyamukuza ku ddiru ki you beat a child for a wrong thing and their mother will come lashing at you mutwale mu ddwaliro nkuyitira poliisi ne police shameless ninejja nekwata omuntu naye ng'oli omwana bamukubidde ensonga gy'olaba nga ensonga y'amagezi nnyo kikulaga ki eyo moral generation evudde mu bazadde bennyini era omukyala minister of education kyagamba mukyala Tibwabulwa kiyayogerako kituufu nnyo abazadde abaana baabwe babalemye kati batandise okuteeka omusango kubaki ku state
edda abazadde abamu balinanga poliisi ng'omwana bw'awummula genda kewa jjajjaawo akimanyi ye kennyini tasobola muteekamu mpisa nga yeze bamuteeka because twakuzibwa abazadde nga batuteekamu empisa bakugamba tokola kino tokola kiri society nebako kye contributing nti bannange omwana wakutyonze
bantu kubako ekyalo kyonna kyajjanga kinoonya ne kinkuba
mu kufumbirwa oba mu kuwasa bawasanga amaka nti amaka gagundi abaana balina empisa abaana abo ku kyalo kuno bakuze bakola bwe bati naye essaawa zino wesanga ku kibuga nga tomanyi
omwana eryewooli
mwana muto naye ng'omwana ayisaamu maidi amaaso
definitely
naye ng'ate bw'amuyisaamu amaaso bamuleke mambi omwana oyo muto omwana muto wano mu buto bwe walina okubangulirwa naye ate abazadde omwana muto tetumukuba omwana tetumukola bwe tuti ne bwe tuti omwana oyo agenda kula nga ali mu bwawa
bagamba akakyama amamera okagolola kamenyeka bumenyesi
naye omwana ono bw'anaakula ng'ewaka akimanyi maidi muyisa bwenti ne bwenti alabidde kuggwe maama maidi omuyisa otya abantu abajje wako bayisa otya ye kyagenda okukola ki kyagenda okutwala naye abazadde abamu bwe bateeka abaana bano ku kompyuta oba ku zitaabu omwana asomere online bw'amala muteekako ng'agenda ng'akola maidi oba wanganyo muyita maid household ali ku mirimu oba sinakindi naye kennyini awummudde mwali mukwerabira ku TV ayinza obutamanya nti omwana ono agudde ebintu ebitasobola kukola ki oba agudde sites ezitali nnungi at the end of the day gojja kulaba mwana akola kintu naye nga gwe tomanyi omwana ono kye yakola akijjawa abamu ne bagamba nti household oyo yayonoonya omwana wange amulabisa TV oba amulabisa bino na bino naye nga gwe omuzadde tomanyi mwana bw'abanga asoma kiki ekituufu kyasoma
wano tulandazeewo nnyo because waliwo ensonga ezikwata ku society ate ku nsonga ezibeera mu society kituwaliriza okugamba omanyi katunoonye engeri gye tusobola okukola ki okukyusa mu society yaffe bana abazadde mulekeraawo okubeera nga muli megemege nze mama wange bakiyitanga megemege kwe kwata omuntu ng'akagiraasa abaana ng'akagiraasa omwana waba akoze ensobi yogera naye omala okwogera naye olaba ng'ensobi agizeemu mubuttule otamutulo omwana agenda kwonoonekako ffe emigo gye tukuliddeko gibadde emigo gyennyini tebikola wano
omuzadde ku poliisi nti maama nkubye
tuveeyo mu mawulire amalala abasajja aba front for transition abakulembeddwe omwami retired Kano Dr. Kiza Besigye kifeefe gemanya ge gonna omusajja oyo yayugumya Uganda okumala emyaka 10 ng'abiri ng'anyeenya entebe y'omukulu Yoweri Kaguta Museveni teyasobola kubanga agimuggyako nno era tasobodde kubanga agimuggyako naye akomyewo mu gye n'aliise season 5 of keeping up with Dr. Kiza Besigye yes yakomyewo n'ekisinde ekipya bakiyise Chief Front for Transition People's Front for Transition PFT eri egenda kubanga elukinga okubanga Museveni taweza 2026 nga akyali ku ntebe campaign west tuzirabyeko nnyo twalaba people power yeyakasembayo wano pressure group eyajja kati eno weeri waliwo n'ebyo bakola yaba TDA yaba bamama mbabazi oba Ismail go forward biki balina n'endala ze bakoze over years n'endala ffe tetwaziraba ye yagigaana FDC yagigaana yenna FDC yagigaana n'ezo n'ezo zi groups zibaddewo zi TGF FOGC zikyagaanye zikyagaanye okuba nga zikwatayo naye omukulu ono yaleese eyo front for transition
mulimu ebibiina abiri ku ludda oluvuganya gavumenti mulimu UPC
mweri
mulimu
UPC nga baali bagamba kati kafuuka ka branch ka NRM
mulimu UPC manyi UPC eno ye
kati omukulu wa UPC anti omukulu wa UPC waba ayinamu n'ebifo mu gavumenti kati ataawo oba okola bosi bitegeera
UPC mweri waliwo abatakkiriza mu mwami akena waliwo UPC nga onowulira nti waliwo DP ne DP block kati mulimu DP block DP yennyini teriimu naye mulimu DP ki
eyaba mukaaku eyo yo ngimanyi ku mukaaku omusajja wange mukaaku
DP block tekyalimu bo tebagibala
naye nga kyekituufu
niwobawo PPP
eyo ya bidandisali
mwebali bonna mulimu ebibiina ebyenjawulo era nga ku luno bakkiriziganya era lonch eno yali ku offices za GMM
kyembuuza nze abo nga ebeekozeemu bakyali relevant in Uganda's political dynamics
mulimu ne Conservative Party ya Mwami Kenya
kyembuuza bakyali relevant bakyali n'amaanyi
kyoyagala okugamba
ku mulembe guno Dr. Kiza akyalina omanyi kyatusoke tulabe embuno waliwo ekintu kye bayita omulembe okukyuka
alabika ku mulundi guno yazze yeeteeseteese
yabawaako chance abaana aba NUP bakole stage bagezeeko okunyeenya ku muti balabo baguna kutuko ebyokulya binaavaayo ne bigaana kati akomyewo mu game akomyewo n'amaanyi mangi naye political spheres zikyalize ezimu are the political dynamics still the same
transition ena agikoze kati ateeketeekere 2026 alabe ekinaavaayo actually waliwo n'ebyabadde bigambibwa nti alabika ena agikozeseza nga comeback year asobole okudda mu byobufuzi ebiri serious
I think it's like putting an old wine in a new bottle. Wine mukadde otadde mu chupa mpya okyusiza chupa naye nga wine y'omu naye wine oyo abantu bakyamwagala nga bwali sigambe muteba mwagala because mutayadi kano omuntu oba badde n'embavu
akyalina test ye nga test ekyali
anti kyengambye naye oluusi oyinza osanga nga yali testing nga abantu tebakyaginyumira nga balina omwenge omupya gwe bakozesa kati engule ey'obwakabaka weeri abantu gye bettanira kati ate obaleetera nenera kyengamba these are just rhetoric questions. Rhetoric question nzeebuuza nga nze naawe Munnayuganda ndaba ozeebuuzenga gwe olabe gwe kikola is it viable or it's actually not viable because of the things we have to ask ourselves. Retired Dr. Kano Kizza Besigye comes to a political dynamics that have changed. FDC is no longer the leader of opposition as it used to be. NUP is now in the driving scene. NUP is looked at as the charismatic power, charismatic.
Actually, Bajita wave, I think.
No, I think it's tekyali wave. Really, yali wave.
Mwami yakyogera yali yava yali yavam FDC yali mwami birigwa.
Really, yali wave.
Bulungi erinnya yagamba nti NUP is just a wave.
Yes, really, yali wave. But right now they have political systems which have helped them get over 60 members of parliament. In parliament, they are 62. 57. My dear, they are like 60, but we are 60 something. In fact, like 62 or 63. We shall confirm. I'm not sure. But the last time I remember, they were like in 60s. But even if they are 50, they are still leader of opposition. FDC has not got more than 50 members of parliament over time. Up 27, 34. Well, that's good. Whenever they at least ko banabalenzi bajja webali. Kati gwolese FDC buto olese pressure group yo. Political dynamics zine engeri gye zikyuseemu naye n'engeri gye zikyuseemu ate namwe temwagala kukwatagananga mu abali mu kukola enkyukakyuka olabira ddala that there is a challenge and I'm yet to find out how it's going to work or how it's going to go. But right now I think Retired Kano comes back with the energy. Yes, he has it. He comes back with the speed. Ate ye kyaleeta mu political game ekirala nti NRM ebadde efunyemu a bit of complacency. Ebadde relaxing. Because I think in this when time ya Kyagulanyi amazima President Museveni has had a smooth ride. Because first of all he has been dealing with immature politicians. He has been dealing with politicians who use sentiment rather than facts. Kale ebintu bya emotions. NUP is an emotional party. Let's speak the truth. No. No, you've seen it here, but I brought Dr. Lina Zedriga here on set. I was telling her facts, but Lina Zedriga was getting mad. Your NRM. So they don't look at they normally don't look at what you're saying, but they are looking at is it on their side or it's not on their side. So politically they are immature because they think you have to always agree with them. When you speak bad about them, you become Museveni's what? Museveni's playlist or Museveni's friend.
Democracy agamba democracy works. Na tugatosa kwesimbawo mirundi ena nokumawo nojja notugamba democracy takola. Kati
obuzibu bwe bakyalina. And that's why the opposition ne President Tibuhauro wanalekerawo oba wanaba akomye okujja ku ntebe, because of course I think he's not going to come back 2026. I'm just thinking, but Africans can surprise you, they can shock you. But I want to look at katusubire mbu agina kumula, because ndaba kale projects nyingi zibali ya Salim Saleh limu ya wejja ya Odrek Rwabogo weri ya Muhozi weri olaba mbuno. They are at least even internally as NRM they are talking about what? Transition, which is already a tick. So even if we don't transition from NRM to another political party, which is going to be very difficult, but as long as we transition from one individual to another, even if another NRM cadre comes, at least he's coming with different ideas. Obongo bulala. Oba Museveni bulala no kuona omuntu abajja. So ekizibu lwaki ndaba Front for National Transformation or for Transition, People's Front for Transition, it's because they are the same political players, they are still having the same political challenges, the same political immaturities, the same political disagreements that they should not be talking about right now. NRM might have internal disputes, right? But NRM has one uniting factor. That is Tibuhauro. For them, all of them believe in that. Opposition players. Katwalabye. NUP tugenda kuchoga because NUP na yaganye okwegatako. DP yaganye okwegatako. NT yaganye okwegatako. Wakitegeera. Kati ono yi afunye just abamukirizamu aba individuals abenjawulo naye ate abantu be yali badde akolagana nabo okubanga basobola okukyusa government. Alemeddwa okukwatagana nabo kibalemye nti Kyagulanyi we yajja yavuma Besigye ate Besigye era wajja era naye atagenda like kale yagambye yamuyise naye ngulabe ddala era yakikoze kutuusa mukono nti nkuyise ng'akimanyi tebagenda kumwegattako Besigye ng'ayita
NUP
kyekyo nabo tebajja era omanyi waliwo ebintu politics kati kankubuulire Liliana wange politics is not what you see. Politics, chobala bakugamba it's a dirty game. Politics nja kuwandiika ebbaluwa ewali Lilian nga just chenfa kuwandiika mu ebbaluwa nagiwandiika. Already you know what you're doing. Kati Bobby Wine called Besigye and FDC knowing they will not back him up. Of course they automatically did not. Which is the same thing. Ne Besigye ayise NUP ng'akimanyi nti tebagenda kumwegattako, which automatically nabona. They all have their own interest. The moment you don't get a common ground that unites all of you, that is the moment, that is Museveni's capital. Ira Museveni tayagala abantu begatte. Ira yetaswana kirowooza konti bano begasse. Because we begatta, go imagine if FDC were to join with ANT, were to join with NUP, UPD, all political parties. UPC, PPP. Nibagamba manyi tusimbyewo political candidate yoko. What would that be? That is something I've been advocating
in the previous elections. Ngabasubira okwegattira wamu. Echalema.
Olaba wadde Besigye teyajja bagamba oboyja tebasobola.
Mulundi guno banasobola okwegatta.
Lilin tebagenda kusobola.
Botunulira ekisinde kino nti akikulembera kano Dr. Kiza Besije wa FDC amumyuka deputy we omwami mulodi Elias Lukwago FDC spokesperson omwami wa Fulogutu.
So that is what I'm saying.
That is where the question weyajira bana Uganda nga bajebuza kino kisinde kigatta bibina bya bufuzi oba kisinde kikoleddwa FDC
kukoma okutandika gaining a relevance again
mu bantu.
Thank you. That is exactly what the thing is. But for me, I'm thinking these gentlemen, because if the society is united and you're disunited, you're the ones wasting your time, because these folks, the people on ground, are already united. For them, what they want is change. Now, the problem is with the political players. If those political players don't stop thinking about themselves, because we are in a capitalistic state. We are capitalist. We struggling for resources. Okisegera mwena mwagala nsimbi. Opposition mu gwanga ino gwafuuka ki? Gwafuuka muli muntu oyina ogenda okkeera bakuwe abagenda okukkiriza bakuwe funding kuso kigenda kuba kizibu nnyo gwe okwagala okwegatta n'oli because gwe mwina we mufuna ne bali balina gye bafuna kati bonna ekintu kyafuuka kya nsimbi gwafuuka mulimu kyava ku passion nga mukulu Kibawula gye baalina because I'm telling you the Musevenis as they were coming to power Museveni yakolako ne Obote yakolako ne Batito yakolako ne DP yali wa DP originally just UPC yajegatako because of the political tunnels
ne Namara nagenda mu DP
bonna yalina ekintu kye buli sale yatuukangako yamanya abantu balina okukwatagana nabo ate nga abantu bakwatagana nabo balina the same goal. If FDC and NUP have the same goal, which is one, to change government, that should be the uniting factor. Bagambo manyi ebira tunabira bagatinga ba Museveni bali mu nsiko mu kinana tiwali Museveni yeka wali abantu abebibiina ebirala bakayira bonna bali mu nsiko omwo they all bonna they didn't look at individual mbunoze kati njagala kuwangula kino for them they like omanyi katsoke tujje mu Obote ku ntebe eno wetumujjako ebya tunabira which they did ne batuuka ne bakwasa obuyinza era ne balyoka olabide nchankala ya kwawukana kutandise kujja nnaku zino nga bakoze eki bamaze kukwata buyinza kiche tugamba NUP kiche tugamba FDC muleke ku wasting time ya bana Uganda nga muleta pressure groups empya ate muli seeking relevance muli mulinya banyonyi. Yes, you are gaining, but what is a Ugandan gaining at the end of the day? The Ugandan who wakes up to support chovula kati abamu kufe politics netumwesonyiwa. Why should I actually go back and vote again?
Waliwo mwami amwatera okwogera akantu kamuntu abakuba emiggo soka webuze emiggo bakuba jani bakuba jijo bakuba ja muntu mulala oyo mwami noma ntu muhimbise
paka we bali salawo bonna ne batandika okubanya nti nomanyi ekintu tukikolera ffe tukikolera gwanga ate gwanga lya abantu tukolera abantu bwetujja okuddamu bakkiriza nenga bakyali mu zino political gimmicks.
The question is will they change the political scene? Mulundi guno engeri gye bazeemu waliwo wenawulidde
tewali kyenakugambye putting old wine in a new bottle.
But Edgar, ekisinde kino tukiwa obudde tulabe kiki ekigenda okuproducinga kiki ekigenda okukola
ku mulundi guno according to the characteristics of this country
ebibiina ebitasobodde kubeegattako nga kiro nkingibwa oba gye banaagenda mu maaso okubeera nga beegattira wamu ekyo kyekiremeseza actually the opposition okuba nti bajjako omukulembeze w'eggwanga nga bo bwe bakyogera nti balemeddwa okwegatta buli omu ali ku ludda oluvuganya gavumenti oba oludda lwali badde olwabulamu alina interests
zekyo ng'omuntu
nti nze njagala kino nze njagala kiri nze njagala kiri ekyo kiremesezza nnyo ab'oludda oluvuganya gavumenti
kyeki kyabasibye kyekyo kigenda okubasiba.
Bwe nali nyumyako n'omwami Yona Kanyomozi naye yategeeza nti ne mu myaka giri nga Uganda era tenafuna bwetwaze oba ne Uganda bwe yafunira obwetwaze the opposition yo nga yo waliwo okwerumaaluma unayagala berenga yasinga unayagala berenga yakola kino unayagala berenga yakola kiri awo wava obuzibu nti saawa zino ebyaliwo luli opposition teyasobola kufunamu kyakuyiga That's why right now tulaba bakola ebintu byefaananyiriza bali bye bakolanga.
Definitely.
So abooludde oluvuganya government bwe mubanga mugamba nti mwenna gooli yammwe eryemu batuule ku mmere bakyasobola otuula ku mmere.
Basobola. The thing is this. What they should do, it's just a logical thing. What FDC brings to the table is experience, right?
Yes.
They bring experience, they bring credibility. Yes. They bring credibility, they bring they bring the skill, they bring other ways of putting the government on pressure. What NUP then brings to the table is their age, their youngness, their support they have from the people themselves, their energy, their resilience, their dynamics. Nti kati bakolagana n'abavubuka ate NUP esinga bavubuka abavubuka beetegeera ekitali ku retired Kano. So if they came and they merged tuba tufuna ekintu ekiri of quality ne tugamba omanyi NUP ereeta kino ku ntebe, FDC ereese kino ku ntebe, kati tubigase tutya tutandika okuzimba eggwanga, tutandika okuzimba force egenda okulwanisa, because kati system gy'olwanisa ebadde entrenched for over 40 years.
FDC baina this belief akaluluko kati kasobola kujja omukulembeze
Checho, which is very true.
What are the alternatives balese ne bagamba nti omukulembeze tesobola mujisako kalulu tuleese kino nakyo
ante bagenda kuzikugamba kati era kibali mu kufumba boy baba boogera kwati bajja kugamba otukugamba tuba tubya tulabyama byaffe, which is okay. But one thing they should know, whatever trick they are making, when they want Ugandans to rise, or if they want Ugandans to wake up and rise for themselves, they should first be united as a people, and they should first put away the selfish interests of individuals who want their own gains. Nti batambula nawe kubanga babaze karuka 226 batambula nawe kuba babaze sente zigenda okuva mu funding ebyo kasitaba nasigala nga babirina wano tebagenda kugenda mu maaso, bagenda kusigala nga just bakola akavuyo, president n'abakubamu abamu ne bafa abalala ne babasiba ne babatocharinga ne babeerayo ne tumala ne twebaka ne tulya ne tudamu ne tuzuukuka encha ne twebaka ne tuzaala ne tulya.
Banji nnyo bali disappointed mu kalulu kano ketwakakuba amabega,
banji baluzinga morale eddamu ekulonda. Kati how are you going to bring back those people again?
Kyagulanyi bwe yali agenze mu kooti twali tulyawo ng'omusanga agujjeeyo. So
kati kyekulaga mbuno kati political immaturity we playing ira kati awusinga obadde ne retired Kano biyina Kiza Besigye oba n'ekisinde kye tebalikoze decision ziweziteze ekyana ekito ne kati because you are NUP, you are young, and the only few people you have who are old have been in parliament for like 10 years abalala ekinene nnyo 15. They don't know the political gimmicks, but you need a retired Kano.
The struggle still on. That is the question.
That is also a question that I'm also going to pose to them.
Botunulira abali babaka ba NUP abamu struggle abamu balinga abagivaako edda bali
ate kati tebakuta bali mu mbaga.
Mukyala Betty Namboze bwe ku Buganda bwe bali balonda
Buganda caucus
bwe yekandaga n'afuluma n'agenda olw'ensonga tebali tebakimuwadde
kyekyo selfishness.
Buli ndoza sawa zino struggle abamu balabika bagivaako nti oli bwe yali abala bwe yamala okukifuna
gwali agambe bali ku struggle yo. Kugambe we are in a capitalist state. When somebody tells you ndira gwajja mirundi emekojo omulaba buli omu habwe ruhanga bwitwitwena. That is what my father always told me, and he still tells me. Buli omu kululwe katonda kulwa fefenna. That is what happens. Nenje katuve ku topic kubanga mangu dabo budde bututwala oyita katindi kagobe kantindigwa twogerako ku treason cases. Omwami Besigye bamujjeko emisango gye bali bamuteekako
ejokulemu nsi olukwe
emisango mingi egy'okwerayiza naye bagimujjako naye ate bagimujjiddeko mu mawulire teyategedde naye yabisanze mu mawulire aga mwanzigyeko emisango teri document yazewuwe bulijjo yagamba bulijjo yali reportinga ku bitebe ebyo ebya kooti naye nga basanga tewali bantu tewali bamuwozesa kwegamba naye nga tamanyi mbunne emisango bakola ki bagimujjako. Owoza kino kitegeeza ki mu ggwanga lino okubanga omuntu bamuteekako emisango eminene bwekyo omanyi omusango guno oguba gwa naggomola ogwa treason kulya mu nsi y'olukwe guba musango munene nnyo. Kitegeeza ki okubanga bagukujjeko just like that without even any trial?
Kino kyongera okuba ebituli mu judiciary ya Uganda nti baba bakola emirimu gyabwe okunoonyereza kwabwe ku bakoma wabanonyereza kyenkana ki ochulide because wotunulira ku Twitter handle ya Dr. Kiza Besigye naye yateekayo naga this case was apparently stealthily dropped 2 years ago. Neither me, the accused, nor my lawyers knew about this. Charges were dropped by the same DPP who had sanctioned me. Who had sanctioned the trumped off charges. Now Supreme Court Judge Michael Chibita.
Waliwo ekiraga
bana omusango guno njeke nyini naye akulaga nti yali tamanyi.
Ekyo Lilin kati kankubuulire. Ekinyuma kyowuli abantu bagamba ki Uganda kinyuma. First of all, we have realized that actually people babateekako emisango are accused without evidence, without any in a state that is unlawful. Abantu ne babateekako emisango. Ekyo kikakasiddwa because wobotaddeko omuntu omusango gwa treason. Ate si gwe gusoose ndoza mujjukira omusango gwe bateekako Kyagulanyi ng'ali mu Arua. Ndoza mujjukira omusango gwa Besigye ogwa rape. Kiraze mbuno state fueled prosecutions oluusi tezibeera validated.
Waliwo omwami omwe yataddeyo.
Oluusi zikolebwa mu mankwetu.
Singa bail yali teriibwa omwami ono singa nakati akyali yali badde yasibwa bwere.
Talina musango. Oba okiraba Lilin.
Kino kituteekawa.
Kyenkugamba kati kitandise okutukubamu ebituli nti judicial system kana abantu bagenda kudda. Kyokugamba abantu tebakyagenda na makooti. Ekyo tokiwulira. Abantu bagamba nsagana agenda mu kooti. Kikulaga ki abantu batandise losing, and when a society starts to lose trust or credibility in a system that takes them, that is always a springboard to doom. Abantu tebakyatandika kukkiriza tebakyakiriza mu government yaabwe, abantu tebakyakiriza ku misango gye bateeka kati kyobula n'abantu bagamba emisango gye bataddemu aba MP Ssewananya ne Sseggirinya mazima ddala mituufu. Kwengamba ekyo kikulaga ki okujweteka kweyongedde mu ggwanga lino aye tutandise okubanga tweswaza fenga abantu.
DPP yakola ki?
DPP ye muwabi wa government, yes, yagenda n'awaaba n'agamba kati gwe nkusuubinze on behalf of the government. Kyenkugamba ndino kati abantu batandise losing credibility. Waba DPP aso okujwetekako omusango gutaliyo.
Michael Chibita yali DPP ku musango guno
which is so ashamed
because sawa zino ate yavaayo DPP aliko mulala. Naye kati bwe kiba nti omusango bagujjeeyo bwe batyo kiva kuki because amawulire gano gagenza
obujulizi tobulina
omwami Dr.
obujulizi tobulina
yakamaliza okulaunchinga
obujulizi tobulina. When you don't have evidence, which oftentimes government neteekako abantu emisango nga terina evidence, era kyenkugamba ogenda kubeerayo, yes, naye nga kati bamanyi politics is different. Kati politics abalina kyabaze ekikye kati ye wakusibayo emyezi 2 ye kyabayagala oyisaawo abakiisizaawo, naye ekizibu ekiriwo nti waba akusibye abakutadde on record nti wakola kino naye kiba si kituufu. Omuntu wati oba olina omuliyirira kyekitokera n'omukulu Besigye yagamba agenda kuddayo abaloope, olina omuliyirira ate naawe kennyini oba oluzinga credibility yo wonaddamu okuwaaba omusango gwe gumu abantu bajja gamba naye nedda gwe twakumanyiira. Oluusi emisango gyo gy'owaaba gibeera mikyamba nange obudde butuweddeko bannayuganda mwebale kubanga mutulabye olunaku olwaleero. Producer wange Jeremiah aŋŋamba tuve wano tweyanziza nnyo Sekinoomu abaddewo Lilin Luwedde gwe nkoze naye omukyalo ono badde ne Rogers tulyahabwe n'omukulu Katoya abaddewo ku makya n'omukulu Jeremiah Mukiibi waali Arnold Mukose Anthony naye waali buli omu Sekinoomu atulaba buli lunaku. It is always a pleasure to have you. Tomorrow we shall be having a musician in studio and you don't know, we may bring you a surprise, maybe a good artist or an upcoming artist.
Tunula ka comment ko mwami ono banga
kasome ddala
omwami Moze Mukisa agamba Uganda is not a democratic country, that's why I'm not surprised to hear that from the judge. Even look at the way they are treated when they were arresting them the second time. Honorable
yes.
Brooke Williams naye kwali Jeremiah Mukiibi tumuhimbise Norman beba babaddeko okuva bwe twatandise paka ne tugenda okubanga ate tuwunzikira
siibula abatulabirira
mwe balenye mwenna batulabye okuva ku ntandikwa paka ne tugenda okubanga tusiibulira in-house Thursday bwe twetambudde twafunye amawulire okuva ewa mukulu Edgar Mathew Karuhanga ne tufuna fashion tips okuva ewa mukyala Tenjo Teri, environmental tips okuva ewa mukulu Rogers Tudehabwe, ate naffe ne tukomawo ne twongera okwogera nze kennyini mubeja Luwedde Lilin ne Edgar Mathew Karuhanga ne twogera okwogera ku biki ebidde bigenda maaso mu ggwanga. Mwebale nnyo era wano wengenda okuwasiibulira nga mbagaliza olunaku olulungi tusisinkana olunaku olw'enkya mubeere bulungi
mweraba.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.